Hi world, it's Saturday the 20th of July 2019. It's about 6:15 in the evening UK time. Yours truly is in the medium far north of Scotland. I'm about 30 miles south of Loch Ness and about 5 miles north of Loch Tay, to those of you that are familiar with the heartland of Scotland. I'm in a really weird space at the moment, and as you can see, the brightness in this place is phenomenal. I'm in the land where it doesn't get dark until about 11 o'clock at night, and then it's light again at 3 o'clock in the morning, which is considerably different to London, I can assure you. And it's a really weird time zone to be in, and time is perhaps the feature of what I'm talking about. Now behind me, right here, you can see a tree behind these railings. I'm actually in a little village in the heart of Scotland called Fortingall. Now there's some lovely little stone circle formations about half a mile away, but this is the oldest living being in Britain and Europe. It's a yew tree. It's called the Fortingall yew, and just to my right there's a plaque that states quite clearly that it is at least the oldest living thing in Europe, if not the world. It's at least 5,000 years old, and what you can see there is just one tree that's growing up from one piece of root. The original tree has collapsed, but all the roots have formed trees, so there's a ring of little yew trees inside this enclosure. And the original tree, if it had still been standing, would be by now be about 50 feet across, which for a yew tree is incredible. So when you're talking about something that's at least 5,000 years old, it tells me that people have lived in this area, in the central north of Scotland, for quite a long time, 5,000 years at least, if not considerably more. And it makes me question the nature of time. We've got Saturn, the ruler of time, opposite the North Node at the moment. We've got a Mercury retrograde conjunct the Sun in the next day or two. Pluto's just finished its opposition to the North Node. So it seems to me that at the moment time and time management is really a big issue for a lot of people. And it's the way we allow time into our lives, the way we use time, and the way we manage our individual and collective time. Words like effectiveness and efficiency and focus on time management becoming more and more relevant. Perhaps this is just my perspective as I get older, that time becomes more precious, and to younger people time is just a commodity. But it does seem that the very nature of time is becoming more questionable. It seems to me, I'm pretty much out there when it comes to sort of certain issues. As many of you know, I'm really into my crop circles and other associated phenomena that deal with the more esoteric phenomena in the world. And it seems pretty clear to me that when we're dealing with different dimensions of existence, whether it be the land of crop circle maker or fairy, pixie, elf, troll, brownie, goblin, alien, ET, whenever we're dealing with other world or other dimensional entities, time in those dimensions doesn't run the same as it does here. There's pretty clear evidence that in one level of the other world, in the fairy world, they live 400 times longer than us, which is where perhaps the origin of the year for a day. One of our years is one of their days. And to them, we're nothing but a fly. And yet we're screwing up their planet. It may also be that the generating force of a crop circle phenomena, and this is a fantastic year for crop circles, is coming from an indigenous species just operating from a different dimension to us, and they're trying to influence us, especially with the latest formations in the last few days, around time issues. Some of the fractals that are appearing in the English fields, not the French fields, in the last couple of days seem to have a multi-dimensional aspect about them that makes you question the angular relationship between space and time. I can hear you all going, oh, he's rambling again, he's off on one. But let's come back to the astrology. We're in a Mercury retrograde. conjunct the sun at the end of Cancer. Saturn, the ruler of time and one of the two rulers of astrology, is opposite the North Node. We're in an incredibly warlike time. A month ago I did a video where I was talking about how this is such a powerful time, and in the last few weeks we've seen so many things potentially screwing up. We've nearly ended up in a war situation 2 or 3 times, and we're still not out of the woods yet, and we won't be until the start of August and Mercury starts moving forward again. By the middle of August, Jupiter is moving forward. By mid-September, Saturn is moving forward, and then we're all going to look back and go, what the hell's been going on? It's not just the military and the economic situations for the screwing up, but politically as well. It seems that in every country of the world at the moment there seems to be rabid individuals, often with big hair. Most of them are Geminis, no disrespect to all my Gemini friends, who seem to be trying to pull the wool over our eyes and kid us that everything's all right, trying to tell us that it'll all work out in time and that we should just trust them. And they're not kidding anyone anymore. You know, more and more people are beginning to realise that actually it's froth and bubble. And I suppose in a way, some of these politicians are actually doing the world a big favour, because they're finally destroying the idea of the old political system. And they're really making people realise that there is no one they can turn to for guidance apart from themselves. So the idea of individual self-governing entities naturally forming from the voting public seems to be something that's going to be happening more and more over the coming years. We can but hope. But at the moment I'm sat next to at least a 5,000-year-old yew tree, the oldest living thing in Europe, if not in the world. And it kind of puts my life in perspective. This tree is 1,000 times older than me. And I'm in my 60s, well, nearly 1,000 times older than me. So think of the stories it can tell. Think of the cultures it's seen. Think of the cycles of history that have passed before its eyes. Even when the Romans were traipsing through here, and they did come through this village, this tree was already 3,000 years old. Think of the stories it can tell. And perhaps when we view things from that perspective, we realise not so much how short our lifespans are, but how much there is an obligation for us to do with our lives whatever we can, whilst we still have the time to do it. And that individual time management is a responsibility for all of us, to be more efficient, more effective, more focused, more concentrated on our own particular mission. So it's easy to just get complacent and say, yeah, I'll take my time, or time will sort it out. Actually it won't. It's your responsibility, it's our responsibility, it's my responsibility to manage our time, to concentrate so that we get the very best in the best quality of time. Time management. What a wonderful phrase that is. On that note, I'm just going to go off and explore a couple more stone circles, and I'll be back in London in a couple of days' time, and then I'm back to work. Catch you later, world. Bye now.